Tonight on WVUA News at 5, a narcotics roundup has left 75 people facing drug charges in Tuscaloosa. We've got a live report, and the doors may be closing for 4 casinos in Alabama. Find out which ones. Also, you'll see the story of an Alabama man who crashed his plane, walked 10 miles for help, and lived to tell the story. And imagine having 4 babies at once, but they're not quadruplets. That's what one woman just experienced. WVUA News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Terry Brewer.
And I'm Lynn Brooks. We start tonight with a drug bust in Tuscaloosa that's left 75 people facing charges. WVUA's Travis Leader joins us now live with more. Here, Mike.
Lynn, Terry, according to Tuscaloosa Police Chief Steve Anderson, the raids began at 4 a.m. this morning. There were 74 arrests, many were UA students. Anderson said authorities seized marijuana, cocaine, LSD, mushrooms, ecstasy, prescription pills, and even 3 weapons. UAPD, Tuscaloosa Police, Northport Police, U.S. Marshals, and the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force joined together for this operation. Anderson did not say which buildings on the UA campus that were searched, but he did say some dorms were involved in the search. Now, he wants this record seizure to be a warning that law enforcement is cracking down on drug activity.
We hope that it will have a positive impact, meaning that it will drive drug sales down. It will make people more leery of who they're selling drugs to, because we realize that we do have an issue with drugs in our community, and our task force is dedicated to doing as much as they can to eradicate the drug problem.
UA President Judy Bonner released in a statement saying, in part, the students who were arrested will be referred to judicial affairs, and once reviews are completed, students will receive sanctions up to and including expulsion. Now I'll have more coming up tonight on WVUA News at 6 and 10. Reporting live on the University of Alabama campus, Travis Leader, WVUA News. Lynn, Terry.
All right, thank you, Travis. Now to Macon County, where there's a new twist in the battle over bingo. WVUA's Daniel Sparkman joins us now with the latest on that. Daniel.
Yeah, Terry, Alabama's largest casino, Victoryland, was shut down in a raid this morning by the state's Attorney General's office. Alabama Attorney General Luther Strange sent state troopers to close Victoryland earlier today. Strange says several hundred gambling machines and cash were removed from the facility. The AG's office said today's operation was in response to illegal gambling. He says the money and machines will be held as evidence. Victoryland owner Milton McGregor says that the raid was improper, and his attorney says no court has ever ruled Victoryland's machines are illegal. This is not the first time that Victoryland has been the focus of a raid. Back in January of 2010, former Governor Bob Riley's gambling task force attempted to raid Victoryland but was blocked by a judge. McGregor shut down the casino to keep it from being raided, but later reopened it in March. Now, in August of that year, Victoryland shut down once again to prevent another raid, but just last December, McGregor reopened Victoryland. And Indian casinos are also coming under fire today from the Attorney General's office. Luther Strange filed suit against the Porch Band of Creek Indians today. Strange wants a court to stop the use of illegal slot machines at the group's Wind Creek Casino in Atmore, the Creek Casino in Montgomery, and also the Creek Casino in Wetumpka. Federal law doesn't allow state police to enforce state laws on Indian lands, but the lawsuit says that the Porch Band cannot operate slot machines for illegal purposes anywhere else in Alabama. Now, gambling raids are not new to West Alabama. In July of 2010, former Governor Bob Riley's gambling task force raided Green Track down in Utah. Riley said that the gambling machines were illegal. They reopened with bingo machines in March of 2011, but 3 months later, state officials raided Green Track once again, and on August of 2011, they were able to reopen. Now today, Deputy Attorney General Sonny Reagan told WVUA there are still 4 separate cases involving illegal gambling in Greene County. Reagan says those include $75 million in unpaid taxes from Green Track and 2 cases against the casino resulting from 2 separate raids, one in 2010 and the other in 2011. Over 1,200 gambling machines and more than $100,000 were seized in both those cases. Now, Reagan says there are also litigations against Greene County Casino Frontier Bingo, where agents seized nearly 300 gambling machines there in 2011. Terry.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Now we're taking you along with the Tuscaloosa Disaster Relief Group on their recent trip to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is recovering from an EF4 tornado. While the group was there, they were with hundreds of volunteers and relief workers helping to get the area back on its feet. Relief workers are cutting down massive trees that fell throughout the city. Power crews and cable companies work to restore power and service to hundreds of customers and move the debris to the road for pickup by FEMA and cleanup crews. Some trees fell through homes and covered streets and yards. The University of Southern Mississippi also suffered damage. Officials estimate it will take tens of millions of dollars to repair damage to that campus.
It looks rough. The southern part of campus, as you can see, is completely destroyed. 100-year-old live oaks that grow so slow but are so beautiful and majestic, and they're destroyed.
A dozen members from Central Church of Christ in Tuscaloosa and the Tuscaloosa chapter of the Red Cross were just some of the volunteers. They know what it's like to need help following an EF4 tornado after the April 27th storm. One volunteer brought a crew from Searcy, Arkansas, and she says there's plenty of work for others to come and do for weeks.
We also help clean out houses sometimes if they need us to haul stuff to the streets, sort it for them. There's just a multitude of things. Serve a meal to them that you can do.
President Obama ordered federal aid to supplement state and local recovery efforts in Forest and Lamar counties in Mississippi. Damage surveys are still continuing this week. An Alabama pilot is lucky to be alive after surviving a plane crash. Authorities say his plane went down Friday night in Mississippi.
He not only walked away from that crash, he walked 10 miles to a local restaurant to get some help. Here's the story.
If he would have just kept walking down the road, it was freezing, he would have froze to death.
It was just an ordinary Saturday for Jessica Cantrell and her co-workers at Lackey's restaurant. That is, until a strange man walked through the door.
Brianna were standing in here and we were making tea, and he came running past us to the back of the kitchen. We thought he was here to see somebody, and then we all ended up out front, and everybody was asking everybody like if we knew him, and none of us knew him.
After they realized something was wrong, restaurant owner Kenneth Lackey spoke to a very disoriented Ricky Ford.
The man was like, well, my plane crashed. And then he was like, well, what do you mean your plane crashed? He's like, no, my girlfriend broke up with me. So he kept getting different stories, so we really didn't know which one it was.
Workers tell us that the pilot walked from that gravel road into the Lackey's parking lot, walked right inside the restaurant door, and sat down right here inside the dish room.
He was chucking it because when he got here, he walked straight in, and I mean, he sat down, and then he took off walking when he thought he had to leave again until Kenneth got him back in here.
When authorities arrived, Jessica and her co-workers found out that Ford really did have a very rough night.
The cops started talking to him, and they asked him if he had any weapons and everything. And when they were walking out, they told us that he was classified as a missing person.
Jessica says it's a miracle that he not only survived the crash, but walked through woods and swamp with hardly any injuries.
He was really clean cut looking. His hair was a little bit messed up, but other than that, he had no dirt on him. I mean, he had like scratches on his hands, but that was it.
The workers at Lackey's are happy Ricky Ford's plane crash survival story had a miraculous ending.
It was crazy, but I'm glad he's okay.
Authorities say Ford landed in Louisville, Mississippi to fuel up, but he was not able to get fuel and then took off. Shortly after that, his plane crashed in Hamilton, Mississippi. The Federal Aviation Administration is investigating.